Today is a special request for Jay. He requested Birdemic 2. So strap yourselves on, because you'll need that strap on to kill the bad CGI birds who are back. Birdemic 2 Resurrection. There's a good reason it's called Resurrection, and we'll get into that later. This movie starts with a douchebag in a suit walking around Hollywood because he can't afford a car. He goes down to a restaurant and orders a pitcher and 2 glasses because he's an alcoholic. No, he says he has a friend, and then he hits on the waitress, who says she's an actress. Because there are nobody working as a waitress in Hollywood who isn't an actress. There's no such thing as a professional waitress in Hollywood. They're all actresses. Acting as waitresses. Because if you act as a waitress in Hollywood, someday you'll get your big break and become a big star actress. Either that or you'll work as a waitress your entire life. One or the other. So he gives her his card and says he's a director. Must not direct anything big because he can't afford a car. And then our heroes from Birdemic 1 walk in. And they're talking about movies. And his new movie, which sounds like a ripoff of an old movie. And they drink beer, and he says he needs $1 million for this movie. Now, I could make a movie in Hollywood for a lot less than $1 million. I could make a movie for a lot less than $1 million. I could probably make a movie for around $50,000. Why he can justify an ultra-low budget movie for $1 million, I don't know. But our old pal Rod, says he'll give him $1 million if he puts his girlfriend Natalie in the movie. And he tells Natalie to audition for the lead role. A lead role he just told the waitress to audition for. Do I smell cat fight later? No, I do not. Because there is none. So then we see him walking again. No. Then we see him meet with investors. They say there's no nudity, there's no action. They don't really like the movie, but they agree to fund it, give him $1 million. Even though they don't like the movie. Which is not something that would happen in Hollywood. So you can tell this movie is a work of fiction. Then we go to casting director, where Natalie performs badly, and where Gloria the waitress performs fairly well. Which she is a better actress than Natalie in both real life and in fictional life. But we see him run into Natalie. Well, we've seen him run into Natalie earlier and convince her to stay in Hollywood. And this time he calls her and says she's got the lead role in the movie and invites her to lunch at some Chinese restaurant where he's putting the moves on Natalie. And then their love story begins, which includes going to a beach and helping a woman who gets attacked by jumbo jellyfish. A giant jumbo jellyfish. A giant jumbo jellyfish is kind of rhetorical. Because if it's jumbo, wouldn't it already be giant? I don't know. But she's all bloody. And they call for an ambulance. And then they go to a museum where we run into the doctor from the first one who blames everything on global warming. And he tells them about the eagles and vultures from the prehistoric period and how they attacked cavemen and were huge. and how they're stuck in the La Brea tar pits. Remember that. And then we see more of the love story, and they're at a club in Catalina dancing. Natalie's dancing is definitely worth watching. It's definitely entertaining. It's almost as entertaining as the Wednesday dance. And the black guy singing from the first one. Well, I'm sure must be the director's brother or something to keep getting the singing role. Because he has to be like a no star or whatever. And then our hero Bill, at least I think his name is Bill, the director, and Gloria make sweet lovin'. But we don't see Gloria's boobs, which is a disappointment because I really wanted to see them. Don't worry, there are boobs in the movie though. They learned from the first one and did not make this a boobless movie. And then we go to them shooting the scene with Gloria and Natalie. But there's a red rain near the museum, and the eagles and vultures from prehistoric time rise up out of the La Brea tar pits. And then in the scene, the eagles break into the sound stage. Don't ask me how, because they don't typically keep those sound stages open, because they don't want outside noises in. So apparently they got bolt cutters and they unlock the locks, or they just open the thing with their thumbs. Ancient eagles and vultures had thumbs and could just open bay doors. Or they had keys. I don't know. But it makes sense in this movie why they have guns. They steal them off the security guards who are dead. Because, in California, not everybody has guns. And then they're running around with the guns, trying to help other people in the sound stage. And the other people in the sound stage are shooting a horror movie with 3 chicks who are naked. So we get to see 6 pairs of breasts. Well, 3 pairs of breasts, 6 breasts total. And they are nice breasts. But the chicks die, so they're not in the whole movie. And then they make it out. And are trying to help other people. And we see that when the eagles explode, they bleed everywhere and they have acid blood. They are part eagle, part vulture, part eagle, prehistoric, and part xenomorph. No one knows what a xenomorph is, so no one will get that reference. But they make it to a vehicle and start driving. And surprisingly, Natalie and Rod forget about their son. Their daughter died from apparently the fish that Rod fed them. And yet, no one seems to be upset about this. And then they stop by a car and they steal some more guns. And then they're like stopping by to help people along the way, and everybody's dead. And then they're like, we're going to drive the shortcut through the cemetery. And it rains, the red rain again. And people rise up from the grave. It's got zombies in it too. And they fight the zombies. And the zombies kill one of them. But they fight them off. And it's pretty much them just driving around, helping people or not helping people, and slowly losing people. But they go to a zoo and the movie gets preachy again. Which, there's a couple scenes where it's preachy, but not nearly as preachy as the first one. And eventually it ends with them going to a hotel room, a hotel, guns out, going to a Pepsi machine and getting every single flavor of pop out of it. Every single kind of pop. I think one has an AEW, one has a Coke, one has like a Diet Right. None of them have Pepsis. None of them has any kind of Pepsi product in their hand. They all have different kinds of pop. None of them have a Pepsi product. And then the Asian guy dies. And then we see the eagles and vultures flying out of Hollywood. And actually, this is not a bad movie. I mean, yeah, the love story between Bill and Gloria is kind of, it's not really forced. They seem to work well together. And the eagles do kind of show up out of nowhere with the red rain, and they just rise up out of the thing. And they do explode when they crash into things again, which I still don't get. But it's not bad. I mean, there's still bad CGI burns, but you get past that fairly quickly. But it's not a bad movie. It's not going to win an Oscar. Though, I mean, I've seen Oscar movies that are worse than this. I mean, Gladiator won an Oscar, so why couldn't Birdemic 2 win an Oscar? I'm going to give it 8 stars. 8 stars out of 5. Go see it. Birdemic 2. It's free in a couple places that I did not want to download the app for. And then I rented it off Apple TV for $4. Yeah, it's not free in a lot of places. And I rented it off Apple TV for $4. It was definitely worth the $4. Definitely an entertaining movie. Next week, in honor of Valentine's Day coming up, we're doing Romeo and Juliet, which is the way Shakespeare would have wanted Romeo and Juliet to be done. See you next week.